Good evening and welcome to another episode of iHomeschool Hangouts. I am Jimmy Lanley, co-owner of iHomeschool Network and your hostess for the night. iHomeschool Network is a social media company connecting clients to the homeschool audience through the power of social media. We're really happy to have you with us tonight, whether you're watching live on the event page on Google+, or live on YouTube, or maybe watching us recorded after the fact on YouTube, or maybe listening to the podcast. We have lots of ways for you to catch all of our Hangouts, and if you want to see our upcoming schedule, you can go to ihomeschoolnetwork.com/hangouts to see our weekly lineup. If you miss any of our Hangouts, you can find them there on the Hangout page, or you can go to our YouTube channel, or you can also browse around on our Google Plus page. It's always easy to find our videos and to find our podcasts. Everything is recorded. You don't ever have to miss anything. And if you subscribe to our newsletter, you'll get a monthly email that will outline the Hangouts scheduled for that month. We're really happy to have you again, and I want to take the time to introduce our topic tonight. We're going to be talking about foreign language learning for homeschool. Now, we're going to be talking about all ages, K through 12, whether you have high schoolers that need those required foreign language credits, or whether you have a cultural history that you want to engage your kids in, or whether you just want to expose them to other cultures and languages. We're going to be talking about all those different elements of foreign language learning. And we have an amazing panel tonight of homeschool moms. And we have a special guest. We have two people actually from Middlebury Interactive, and that is a foreign language learning curriculum that's online. It has a lot of different languages available, and they'll have a chance to tell you more about that tonight. The first person I want to introduce, or have her introduce, is Marlene. She is my right-hand woman, and she's the production manager of the Hangouts. Marlene, would you introduce yourself tonight?
Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be here again this week with you guys. As Jimmy said, my name is Marlene Griffith. You can find me blogging over at adiligent.heart.com, and I will be pulling in your comments from the event room. So if you have any questions, any comments, anything you would like to ask these experts, just drop them in the event room and I'll pull it in for them to tackle.
Thank you, Marlene. We're going to start with our homeschool moms and leave our featured guests for the end. So each mom, would you please tell us your name, tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe how many children you have, and please be sure to tell us what foreign languages your children are studying. And if they're studying different ones, that's fine. We're going to start with Adeline. Adeline, make sure you tell everyone where you are geographically and where they can find you online as you introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Adeline. I'm from Indonesia, so I'm 12 hours ahead than you are in America now. And I'm a mother of 3 sons. We speak mainly Indonesian, Japanese Indonesian, we can say. And our foreign language definitely English. And also now we are trying to learn Mandarin because my family background is Mandarin, and I want my children to know a bit about Mandarin. Thank you. You can contact me or you can see me in blessedlearners.com. Thank you.
Perfect. Blessedlearners.com. And you guys want to check out Adeline's blog. She has some great content on there. Heidi.
Hey there, everybody. Heidi Saravola here. You can find me in New York. Lovely getting cold weather now and pretty fall leaves. But I blog over at startsatate.com. I do a lot of stuff about high school now, as that's my latest venture. But I also have a middle schooler and an elementary schooler who is taking Spanish. My little one is taking Spanish, and so is my middle schooler.
Thank you, Heidi. Melanie, can we hear you yet? Unmute yourself. You're muted, so hit the mute button. No, we still can't hear you. Okay, Renee, keep working, Melanie, keep working.
Hi, everybody. I'm Renee Brown, and I blog at Great Peace Academy. I am the homeschool mom to one amazing young man. He's 11, and he's currently studying German. And it's a new venture for both of us, although I had taken a semester of it when I was in high school. So I can remember a little bit, but mostly it's new for both of us.
And where can we find you online, Renee?
GreatPeaceAcademy.com.
Okay, great. Now let's take a second to talk to our special guest from Middlebury. Teresa, I'm going to start with you. I understand you are a homeschool mom, so tell us about your homeschool experience and foreign language experience, and then what your connection is with Middlebury, please.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. My name is Teresa Bruns. We have 4 children, and we have homeschooled all of them we let them go to kindergarten, but from 1st grade through 8th grade. I now have 2 boys in college, 1 in high school, and I still have my 8th grade daughter home and homeschooling. So I started all of them in languages. I also have a master's in Spanish. I'm a Spanish teacher. But I came to Middlebury Interactive Languages 3.5 years ago and have been able to work from my home and do exactly what I love to do, which is work with teachers on teaching foreign languages.
Okay, that's great. So, Teresa, you've got all sides of this, from Middlebury to an educator to a homeschool parent. So your opinion is going to be really valuable. And last but not least, we have Erin McCormick. Erin, would you introduce yourself?
Yes, hi. Thanks for having us tonight. I'm eager to chat with all of you. My name is Erin McCormick. I'm in Middlebury, Vermont, where it is very chilly at the moment. And I've been with Middlebury Interactive Languages for 1.5 years now. I grew up learning Spanish, Italian, and Russian, so I have a passion for world languages. I'm recently married, so no children yet, but down the road I'm sure that we'll be having a few. So thanks for having us.
Well, it's just great to have you here. Really wonderful. So we have lots of fun things to talk about tonight, so we're going to jump right into our topic. First question for tonight is a little bit negative. Let's talk about some of the obstacles and get those out of the way so then we can talk about solutions. So what are some of your biggest obstacles when it comes to teaching world languages as a homeschool parent? We have some special obstacles. So who on my panel would like to tackle this question? Come on, Heidi. Thank you.
I will. I guess for me, I took German. I didn't say that before. I took German growing up in high school. My father is actually from Germany, was born in Germany, and my children are taking Spanish now at home as homeschoolers. And my biggest problem is that I don't know any of the foreign language that they're learning. And so for me, I feel like it's really important to be able to hear it. I need to hear it. I need to see it. I need, because I can look at a Spanish word, for instance, and I have no idea how to pronounce it or how it's supposed to sound. And so for me at home, that's my biggest problem, is that, they're learning a language that I'm not familiar with. And so I feel like I need to hear it. I need to see it. I need to, have access to all of that kind of feedback in order for me to be effective in helping them, to learn the language.
Yeah, great point. Renee, you have another obstacle?
Basically, I really think the same thing that Heidi does, and that is that I don't speak a foreign language, so it's really hard for me to, first of all, it's hard for me to get the phraseology right, or the structure of a different language. It just doesn't come naturally to me. Mm-hmm. My son, however, it does come naturally to him. He seems to have an ear for it. So early on, when he was younger, he wanted to be able to study these languages, and I would just get really, really frustrated and give up. And so I feel like I've done him a disservice because I haven't been able to provide him something that I think that he really has the ability to do.
Yeah, another obstacle I would just say is maybe finding a tutor. I have always hired language tutors for my daughter, and that can be expensive. And I know I only have one child, and if you have multiple kids, you probably can't afford that. It is very costly, and it can be hard to find a native speaker depending on what language you want. So there are definite obstacles, and so that's one of the reasons why we all are so happy with, a quality curriculum. That can do it to overcome these obstacles. So what have you used? Let's just talk about that. What have you used in the past? I know that all of you here have used Middlebury in some capacity, and you can certainly share about that. But what other things have you used to teach language. Adeline, what kind of things have you used to teach your kids? Because I know you've got English and you've got Mandarin. How do you teach your kids foreign language?
For English, actually, we use it in our daily curriculum. We don't speak too much, so we basically use a lot of passive English. And for activity oral communication, that's very hard for us because we don't meet any native speaker here. And also for Mandarin, actually, I would like to answer also the first question, that it's very difficult to find a good teacher for Mandarin because Mandarin has a very difficult pitch to understand, and also usually people can just master the theory, the grammar, but for memorizing the words, that's so boring. It doesn't work for us to just memorize a list of words, and also speaking fluently and correctly. That's really, really difficult.
That's so true. And don't you think that studying a foreign language in a book can be so dry, but communicating with a person is so motivating? And that's always been my experience in studying language. And that's why I've always emphasized live tutors, real life, face-to-face kind of tutors for that, because I think it's very, very motivating. Other people, what other kind of things have you used to teach foreign language? Teresa, you're a professional here. I'd love to hear different methods for teaching foreign language or resources.
Well, I've used Middlebury. So I used Middlebury, the courses that were previous to Middlebury but became part of Middlebury. So I had always used those courses with my kids. Now, when I started, they didn't have the elementary, and so granted, I'm a Spanish teacher, so I had the resources, but we would buy books. And the one thing that was really helpful, I would say to my friends, is that we taught in a co-op. So we used our co-op and I taught the language. So I think if you can find somebody who's willing to do that for you and to put the money into some resources, it's really worth it because you give them the opportunity to hear and speak the language.
So Teresa, what is Middlebury in essence? Tell us what it is.
Well, Middlebury is built, we have elementary through high school courses, but they're built with a pedagogy that is meant to be very, very, very interactive for the students. So we really want them to bring them into language. What I love about Middlebury is that it's taught in context, right? And I'm going back to what Adeline said about it being, just learning a list of words. I mean, nobody can learn a language that way. So the Middlebury program is really interactive, and it's taught in context, as I said, especially the elementary courses. So they're taught through fairy tales, and they're taught through stories from that target culture. Gets, different when you go up through the middle school and high school levels, but still very, very interactive.
Heidi, did you use Middlebury at an elementary level? Which level did you use? Tell us what your impressions were of it, based on what Teresa said, it being interactive. I'd especially love to hear about the interactivity of it.
I love the elementary program. Like Teresa said, it's just, I have an 8-year-old, 3rd grade, that's using it, and she just got so involved in the stories. The images that they use they're sort of cartoony, sort of coloring book-ish sort of looking, and they're fabulous. They're just right where those younger kids are at. They're realistic, but they're still fun and colorful. And they use a combination of, like Teresa said, they use a video format where they're telling a story. There's all kinds of interactive activities, from matching things up to giving the kids a chance to speak. My daughter loved recording herself and listening to herself back, and that's one of the steps in the process when they're going through the units. And so that was something that she really enjoyed being able to do, was not only speaking it, because like I believe it's Rosetta Stone, my son speaks it but doesn't get to hear himself back. It just doesn't pass him, like, oh, you didn't say it right, unless you go into a certain little section. But with Middlebury, at least the elementary, it's built right in. So as she's doing it, she can click, record herself, listen to it, and do it again. It's all right integrated in, which was really nice.
That is nice. Adeline, you've used I'm sure, like a book curriculum for English. How would you compare that with the interactive Middlebury as far as teaching the Mandarin? Did your kids like it? Do you think it's more effective?
My son really likes the speaking lab, definitely because he can record himself, and what we have the notebook, the textbook that's really dry, and we have to, what I said, we have to memorize the list of words, and then we have to write the sentence. That's so boring. Well, with the Middlebury, we can speak up, we can show like expression, and that's all. I think that's the most important and the best one from Middlebury so far.
Okay, great. Well, that's wonderful. So what are some ways that you guys have found to keep your kids engaged with foreign language learning? If you do hit a tough spot or low motivation, how do you keep kids engaged? Go ahead, Heidi.
My kids love anything in song, even my teenager. So we have used some resources that that include music. We use specifically Sarah Jordan products. They have lots of music DVDs, or not DVDs, CDs at different levels, and they have a lot of Spanish in song. We're specifically working with Spanish right now. So I often find the kids that, if it seems like they're kind of on it, we'll pull out the songs, and they really connect with and enjoy learning the songs, and that's just an easy way. We learn lots of things with song. Our kids just seem to really connect and find it easy to learn that way. So if we're stuck, song is a big help.
That's a really good one. Melanie is having some technical difficulties, but she left us a wonderful comment here that I can see, and I'm going to share it with the audience. Melanie says, it's been really helpful knowing native speakers personally. When those kids are motivated to speak English, it helps my kids to stay motivated. That's a great point. So, having all kinds of friends, internationals, that's a huge motivator. Renee, did you have any other motivating ideas?
One of the reasons I chose German is because our congregation a couple of years ago started a mission to Switzerland, and in the region that they go to, which is Thun, they speak German. And so the teenagers in our congregation have been slowly but surely trying to incorporate some words so that when they go, they can communicate. And they've learned a couple of songs in German so that they could sing when they're there. Now, they were there a year ago, and they go again next summer. And so they'll go every 2 years until, well, I don't know how long. But eventually, then Jonathan wants to be able to go and do that. So he's motivated because he has a goal in mind to be able to go to Switzerland and interact with other people.
That's fantastic. Yeah, travel is a huge motivator. Now, we can't send our 8-year-olds on a plane alone, but we can engage with people in our area, and we can definitely have traveling as a long-term goal. So I do want to say a few words about Middlebury. Just take a second to tell you that Middlebury Interactive's digital world language courses are designed at grade levels, and they feature age-appropriate materials. They have courses from kindergarten through 12th grade, and they have languages of Spanish, French, Chinese, and German. They use interactive media. It's all online, and it has animated stories, task-based activities, and videos featuring native speakers. So if you don't have a native speaker or you don't know how to find them, these videos are going to help you bring those people into your home, so to speak. I'd like to talk a little bit about personalizing our learning and pacing, self-pacing. This is one of the huge advantages we have as homeschoolers, is we can go at our own pace. A lot of you have elementary level kids that are studying foreign language, and in many school districts that wouldn't be an option, just wouldn't be available where you live. It depends. Some schools are great and have that, and a lot of schools don't, or they might not have the language your child is interested in. They might have just one or two choices. So let's talk about how important is it to you that their foreign language instruction is personalized and self-paced? Any thoughts on this? Renee, I know you have a gifted child.
Yeah, he is. He
Yeah.
moves at he moves at a pretty rapid rate. So a lot of times I just kind of have to get out of his way. I give him the tools he needs and just get out of his way and let him learn. If I try to hold him back, then he just gets frustrated and we end up having conflict. I think any time that you allow a child or any person really to study anything at their own pace and to the depth that they desire to, then they're just going to excel, or they're going to reach the goals that they set for themselves because there's nobody standing in their way or there's nobody pushing them ahead. So I think having a self-paced motivation is really, I said that wrong. It's a really great way for someone to feel motivated.
Okay, great point. Love that. Answer me this. What's the point of learning a foreign language? I mean, besides high school credit, why do we even care? Why is this important?
I can tell you why we are doing it.
Okay.
For us, I guess it's my kids really wanted to learn a foreign language. So that was a motivator for them. But I think it's important, in communicating with people that aren't native English. I mean, obviously we live in a native English speaking culture, but we come in contact with a lot of people, especially people that speak Spanish in the area that we're in, and it allows them, an opening to freer communication with other people. We also have a very heavily populated sign language community here because we have a very large college and school for sign language. So that's also another one that's big around here and important, for communicating with other people. So I would say that would be my biggest thing is the chance to be able to communicate, to learn to communicate with other people. And like I said, Spanish is a big one around here, and certainly very helpful when you're trying to get a job and people are looking for that type of skill.
Thank you, Heidi. That's great. Erin, I'm going to let you answer this question. While you're getting ready, Melanie shared an answer with us. She said learning a foreign language helps children understand English grammar. You have something to compare it to. So true. It helps children learn other cultures as well. And there are some words that don't translate, for example, that teach something about the country. And absolutely, that is so true. And so learning those words helps you understand the culture and even greetings. In different cultures, they ask different things when you meet someone. I know, I lived in China for 8 years, and I know Adeline knows this. I'm going to ask Adeline. You should find the mayo. That's the greeting, right? And
hello.
Have you eaten? That's the first thing you say. So that shows that food
Yes.
is very important.
That's right.
Yeah. So, Erin, tell us, why is foreign language important? Why, we're trying to do so much. Why should we stick foreign language in, especially in the younger grades when it's not required?
There's so much research now that says that learning a foreign language really helps with brain development. It will stave off dementia. There are so many different reasons, psychological reasons to learn the world language. I look back at my own experience, and a lot of the reasons why I wanted to challenge myself with Russian and learning a new alphabet was really the ability to travel and connect with new people. And one of the things that I really love about the Middlebury courses and why I feel so passionate about them are that we go to different countries all over the world, and we try to feature native speakers. So kids are having conversations. They're really transcending the globe. They're going to China. They're going to Buenos Aires, wherever they need to go to have that really immersive cultural experience that, it's expensive to travel. And through online courses, you can travel and you can have that cultural understanding and global awareness that we might not be able to have if we're living more lives that are more focused on our communities that we live in right now. So I think foreign languages open a lot of doors. There are a lot of career opportunities. There is quite a bit of research right now saying individuals who have world languages are being better positioned for careers down the road. So I think not only are there cognitive benefits early in life with multitasking, creativity, it's really also, it opens up the door to future career and employment opportunities as well.
All right, really practical. Renee, did you have something else to add about future employment?
Well, Erin kind of summed it up for me.
Okay.
But as we, as the digital age continues to grow, being able to speak a foreign language, then whatever business you're in is going to allow you to communicate with people around the world. Because, right here we are talking to Adil. I'm sorry, I keep saying her name wrong. Adeline from Indonesia, and so it's just opening the world when we teach our children how to speak in different languages.
Adeline, what do you think is the value of learning a foreign language?
For me, the reason might be a bit different because here there is a lot of racism. So because Indonesian was under the Dutch, and then people here, including the children, will think that everyone, like the Westerners, are Dutch. So opening their eyes that that not everyone is Dutch is really important, because they have a very negative stereotypes to Dutch. And also it's like a globalization. So many people start to come here to Indonesia. We can see a lot of Dutch here. So telling them, that's the person speaks English, that speaks French, that's German, that's really important for us. And also the opportunity to business. A lot of Chinese here are doing business, trading. So those who with more language will have more chance to do the business. So, and I also try to tell them that English and Chinese are the gates to the world, because most of the knowledge that we have are in English. I mean, it started in English, and like medical things also start in Chinese. Trading use a lot of Chinese here. So if people don't know the language, they will lose in the competition. That's from me.
We really appreciate your perspective, Adeline, because that is so true. We take for granted that we know English as our native language, and there are many people that are studying English as a second language, and it is really important for business. So we really appreciate your perspective. Anyone else there? Marlene, do you have anything to bring in yet? Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, actually, I have 2 questions. So the first one is, let me bring that up. Okay, it's from Catherine. She asked, if she implements a foreign language program in her curriculum, what age is it most appropriate? She has a 9, 8, 5, and 4-year-old.
All right, Teresa, I'm going to let you tackle that one.
I would say the younger the better. So I would start the 4 and the 5-year-old together in the same program, and the 8 and the 9-year-old together in the same program. The reason I would do that, because kids are, somebody wrote it up here in the chat. Kids are sponges. They totally get it, right? They're taking that in. The other thing that you want to do is you're going to have 2 kids that can talk to one another, can interact with one another in that language. Have the family learn it together and just really create times to interact, and I'd say start them early.
All right, well, we solved that one. That was easy. What next, Marlene?
Actually, it kind of was what she just said. So let me just go ahead and read it. So Ruth says, she's always heard that the earlier you start with languages, the better. Do you have any suggestions for teaching foreign language to children before they reach school age? I have a 2-and-a-half-year-old that they're working with Spanish and sign language.
All right, Teresa, yeah, I'll let you answer this one, and other moms can share too if you'd like.
And I think we've already heard it tonight, songs. I mean, there's so many songs that you can teach to start teaching the language with. If you you speak the language, it's simply walking through the house and talking about, this room, naming things in the language and talking about them in context, and just kids are not afraid to try that, and that's what I would do.
Erin, share your research that you read about, please.
Yeah, I actually just saw some research yesterday that a bunch of researchers have determined that age 3 is the best age to start a child. Really, with their brains developing at such a rapid pace, the research has isolated that age 3 is the best. Take it or leave it. But I was speaking with a homeschool family recently that is using our courses, and they were saying that they have, I think it was a 1-and-a-half-year-old and a 2-and-a-half-year-old who were watching their older siblings with the courses. They were getting really excited watching the videos and all of the animations, and although they aren't doing the activities and doing the interactive portion of the courses, just listening and hearing their siblings speaking was getting them interested, and they really enjoyed just, you know, learning the language through their older siblings participating as well.
That's funny. You think about age 3, you know, my daughter was 3 when we moved to China, so that was perfect for her. But along those lines, I was thinking about, Teresa, something you said about little kids aren't afraid to try and risk and mimic. And, you know, what's so funny is they look cute and they get praised even if they make a mistake, whereas when you're an adult and you make a mistake, you look like a goober. But you don't get as much praise. You know, when it's a kid, it's like, oh, it's so cute. She said it wrong, but she tried. Yay. And so, yeah, the earlier the better, right? It's hard as an adult to take those risks. And Melanie wants to say, don't be discouraged if your kids are already, you know, older, you know, 8, 9, 10, or even teenagers, and you haven't started. Don't feel any guilt or shame or frustration or urgency, because she has a 15-year-old who became obsessed with Spanish and has become an excellent Spanish speaker. So that just goes to show motivation is essential. And, you know, if you didn't do it at an early age, it's not too late. It's never too late. I learned a foreign language as an adult. I was in my 30s, and it can be done. It's not impossible. So start early, but start wherever you are. It will work. I do want to say a couple more notes about Middlebury, that these courses are developed by very expert people, PhD academic and linguistic experts who know about education, and they have immersive exercises that help kids acquire tangible language skills and accelerate learning while teaching cultural awareness. There's a lot of feedback that's in that interactivity cycle, and a lot of personalized guidance. One of the cool things about Middlebury Interactive is they have these native speakers from all around the world that are recorded on video. So the kids are hearing different voices from native speakers, hearing different styles and real authentic language situations, and not just fakey dialogues that are in a textbook. And this is what makes Middlebury so effective. Now, Erin, where can people online find Middlebury? What is the site that they need to be putting in their box?
Yeah, so if you go to shop.middleburyinteractive.com, you can view all of our courses there. We have videos where you can see what the courses look like. We're always happy to walk you through some courses if you want to see what they look like and see what activities are like. But they're all available on shop.middleburyinteractive.com. You can find them all right there. Our courses can be purchased as independent study. So without a teacher, there are task-based activities, so instant feedback. So you don't need a teacher taking you through the course. But we do also have instructors who are available should your child want feedback from an instructor who is a native speaker in the language. But yeah, shop.
Okay, great. So let's talk about, how do you choose a foreign language? And I hear a lot of people say this, that especially once their kids get to high school and they need that credit, you know, how do you choose? And they kind of agonize over making the wrong decision. So how do you choose? I mean, Adeline, your situation was pretty clear cut, it seems. You know, living in the culture, and then your ethnicity, you know, you have a background in Chinese, you're ethnically Chinese, so it kind of made sense. But how do, and you got the business language of Chinese and English, so I feel like you're easy, right? We got you figured out. But how do you choose a language other than that? What are the criteria you should choose? You got something to say, Adeline? You can share.
Yes. We choose based on the, like, we love geography, and then we usually learn about the country and things, and then usually kids showing their own interest towards certain language while they are studying certain country. And that is the first point. The second point is about the current event. Current event is very influencing to us. So by reading the newspaper or watching the news about other places in the world, we start to get interested to learn certain language. And then the third one, because I'm a fan of Korean, so like the movie and the song is also kind of influence for us. It's a booster for us to want to learn something. I want to learn that one. What is it? And then that's, I think, the most important things for us to know which one that language that we want to talk about.
Thanks, Adeline. Who else has some input on how do you choose, or how would you answer that mom who just can't decide, my kid really wants to study, Japanese, but we have no Japanese people in our area. All we have are people that speak Spanish. Isn't that impractical? How would you answer that question?
I would say just let them choose. If they want to do Japanese, find some resources and let them learn Japanese, even if you don't know it. If they have a desire to learn it, they're probably going to learn it. I think that for us, I chose the one that he's most likely going to need in the future to start with, but he wants to learn every language. That's why he tells me, I want to learn them all, Mom. So I had to start somewhere, so I chose the one that I thought is more practical for him in the future. That being said, because he is an advanced learner, he probably could learn them all, and that may lead to, who knows, I mean, he could work in world politics. So he may have a need for those in the future. So I say don't limit your child. If they're asking to learn Spanish, let them learn Spanish. If they're asking to learn Chinese, let them learn Chinese. Let them choose.
I totally agree with you. Teresa, do you agree? As a Spanish teacher, do you think we should study Spanish just because we have a lot of Spanish speakers in our community?
I agree with what everybody has said. If the child is motivated by a language, let him pick it. I have to tell you, I was heartbroken. My son took Latin and my daughter's taking French, but I let it go.
That's great, and I agree that it makes sense to choose a language for practical reasons, but when people are young, we just want to encourage their love of learning. And also, we know, and no one has said this yet tonight, but every language you learn, it makes the next language that much easier to learn. Even if the languages aren't related in any way, it's just the skills you have as you learn a language will apply to any other language. So even if you invest all this time in, Latin or French or whatever, but your child ends up living in Japan and needs Japanese, it's not going to be wasted. There's no wasted learning. It's all going to be of benefit. So I don't think we need to stress out about choosing the language. Basically just, go with your passion or just pick something. What do you have? What kind of resources do you have? And just go with that. So we talked a little bit about what age you start, and we agreed younger is better, but start as soon as you can, and probably waiting till high school is, maybe not the best thing if you can start earlier. And let's talk about some of the benefits of language learning. Like, what have you seen in your kids as they have learned languages or had foreign language experiences? What are the benefits that have come to your kids and your family? Who wants to talk about this one? Thanks, Adeline.
I think the benefit of doing world language study is that to grow up the sense of acquire language as a language. So like a structure, sentence structure, they will get used to identify which one is the subject and then the verb. I think in many languages has the same things about that, but maybe different way. Like for example, the English and most language has subject and then the verb and blah 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 and the other. But in like Korean, in Japanese, they have subject and then object and then the verb. So getting them to get used with that structure will train their brain to be able to instantly acquire the structure of language and find out translating what's in their mind. So it's like if I say to connect the brain and the mouth, to connect the brain and the writing, I mean the hand. That's very important for their own self-development. And then it also get them finding their talents and interests for the future. That's the most important one for learning the word language, other than the possibility, I mean, the feature like get more business and so on, but for the self-development of the kids themselves.
Great point. Great point. I think it also builds our kids' confidence when they can speak another language, even if it's just a small dialogue with someone. Who else? Okay, Heidi, thanks.
I have been really surprised. I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old who are both using different programs to learn Spanish, but they're both learning Spanish by choice. In fact, my 11-year-old begged me this year, "Can I please, please, please? I want to do Spanish." And I have been really surprised that it becomes motivating for the two of them. They're almost trying to trick each other to see who knows what. And so it's like become a game. One will say a word or a phrase or something to see if the other one knows it. So for myself, I found that having two of them doing it, despite the fact that they're doing the exact same science, they're doing the exact same history together, but at their own levels. Nothing has been as motivating as them trying to have conversations and to kind of quiz each other, like, oh, I know this word. Do you know that word? Nothing has been more beneficial to the two of them for some reason than the foreign language. It's just become like a game of sport between the two of them.
That's great. I love that. Renee?
I'm really surprised at how excited my son is when we open up the Middlebury. He likes to listen to himself in the speaking lab and then go back and listen to the original speaker and compare them. And I notice that he will correct little things about the way he said it and then re-record it. I think that the benefit is that it's making him think differently about language in general, about the way he speaks with people, even in English. I mean, he's just more articulate, having been forced to slow down and think about what he needs to say.
That's a good point. I know, Teresa, I'm going to let you address this, and I just wanted to share one other thing is that you guys may have heard this, but a lot of the like Nobel Prize winners for literature and a lot of the great writers of the modern day are people who come from a bilingual background, and it's because they've been exposed to different ways of thinking and expressing things and even different vocabulary, and it gives them a layer of creativity that monolingual people don't have. And I know my daughter, she still to this day will say things in a funny, or I shouldn't say funny, a unique way. It's not necessarily wrong, but it's very interesting and very colorful, and I think it comes from her growing up bilingual, and she mixes up these languages in her head, and she makes up words sometimes or connects words in funny ways, but it makes her seem very creative and interesting. And it could be a benefit actually in creativity and writing. So Teresa, share us one last idea about a benefit of world language study.
I just think it's really important that we are raising up global citizens. You know, as we were speaking about before, the world is becoming smaller, right, through the internet, and I have noticed that it just opens up the world to them, and they become accepting and understanding of other cultures, and that's just a really important benefit to us.
That is, and I think that really is a really good ending point to end our hangout. And I want to encourage everyone to check out Middlebury Interactive as you're choosing curriculum. It's an online course, so you don't have to go out and buy books. It's very interactive, and again, it has materials for K through 12, so pretty much something for every age level in all the main languages that you would want. We are so happy to have you with us during this last approximate hour, and we hope you'll join us again for another iHomeschool Hangout. We ask that you would follow us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, and circle us on Google+. Subscribe to our newsletter so you'll be aware of our next Hangouts that are coming up all the way through December. And again, I want to thank Aaron Mccormick. Aaron, the wave to everybody from Middlebury for being with us, and Teresa Bruns for being with us also from Middlebury, and our panel of homeschool moms, and especially Marlene, my right-hand woman, who is also bilingual, speaks Spanish. We should have put her on the spot and made her perform for us tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you again next week at the same time. Bye-bye.